Welcome to the inaugural episode of SecDef Saturdays. SecDef Saturdays is a series brought to you by the Strategic Audit, where we dive into serious national security, defense, and foreign policy issues with clarity, facts, and no political gaslighting. I'm Heath Curry, and I'm your host. Let's get into it. Why can't the Pentagon pass an audit? The $800 billion question about accountability, transparency, and America's defense budget item. The United States spends more on defense than any country in the world. The Department of Defense operates hundreds of military installations, manages massive weapons programs, employs millions of people, and controls hundreds of billions of dollars in annual federal spending. Yet there is one basic question the Pentagon has struggled to answer. Can it accurately account for all of its money, assets, and obligations? For years, the answer has been not completely. In 2018, the Department of Defense underwent its first ever full financial audit. It did not pass. Since then, the Pentagon has continued undergoing annual audits, but it has not yet achieved a clean audit opinion across the entire department. This raises an important question. How can the largest federal agency in the United States manage a budget of this size while struggling to produce a complete financial picture? That is the audit. So, what does failing an audit actually mean? Well, first, let's clarify something important. A failed audit does not automatically mean money was stolen. An audit failure does not prove corruption. It does not mean every dollar is missing. A financial audit examines whether an organization has reliable systems to track things like assets, liabilities, spending, contracts, inventory, financial records, and internal controls. Think about it like balancing your personal bank account. If your bank statement does not match your records, the problem is not necessarily fraud. More likely, there's an error somewhere in the ledger. The problem is you cannot confidently explain where everything went. That is the issue auditors have identified at the Pentagon. It's a federal agency paid for by public tax dollars. So the expectation is that the Pentagon has the receipts. Why is the Pentagon so difficult to audit? The Department of Defense is one of the largest and most complex organizations on Earth. It manages thousands of facilities worldwide, weapons systems developed over decades, classified programs, military personnel, contractors, supply chains, and with multiple branches in separate systems. So the complexity is real, but complexity is not an excuse for avoiding accountability. Large private corporations manage complex global operations every day and are still expected to maintain accurate financial records. The public deserves the same standard from the federal government. Where does the money go? The defense budget is not just one check. It includes military personnel, operations and maintenance, research and development, procurement, weapon systems, infrastructure, contractors, and overseas operations. The question is not simply, is defense spending too high? That's a political debate. The audit question is, can taxpayers verify that defense dollars are being managed effectively? Those are two different questions. A country can support a strong national defense while still demanding responsible financial management. The cost of weak accountability. When financial systems are incomplete, several problems can occur. Inefficient spending. Without accurate information, leaders have a hard time identifying waste, duplication, and unnecessary expenses. Poor decision making. Military leaders in Congress rely on accurate information when deciding what programs they want to fund. Bad data leads to bad decisions. Reduced public trust. Taxpayers are repeatedly told that national security requires significant investment. That makes transparency even more important. Public confidence depends on knowing that resources are being managed responsibly. This isn't a partisan issue. Criticism of the Pentagon accountability has come from both Republicans and Democrats. Fiscal conservatives have questioned waste and spending, while progressives have questioned whether or not defense spending crowds out domestic priorities. The common ground is simple. Every government agency receiving taxpayer dollars should be able to account for those dollars. Accountability is not anti-defense. Transparency is not anti-military. A strong institution should be able to withstand scrutiny. The strategic audit conclusion. The question is not, should America have a military? That is a separate policy debate. The audit question is, can the department responsible for hundreds of billions of taxpayer dollars accurately track and explain how those resources are used? For years, the answer has been incomplete. The Pentagon's inability to achieve a clean audit is not just an accounting problem, it is a governance problem. Because whether the issue is defense, healthcare, infrastructure, or any other public investment, trust requires evidence, accountability requires records, and good government requires both. This is why this is the first SecDef Saturday audit. No politics, no slogans, just the record. Let me know if you think that the inability of the Pentagon to pass a financial audit, and what you think about that. And check out the companion brief to this audit on my Substack page, thestrategicaudit.substack.com.